So what we're going to be going over, like the main thing we're going to be going over today is rate of change. You're going to see this word on the EOC, and you need to be very confident about what it's asking for and what it means. So what does rate of change actually, like what is another word that we commonly ask for all the time? Slope. So there's multiple ways to find slope. Y'all were just, the word problem we went over this morning, did y'all see where it said the rate? That's the slope. They just use the word rate because it's a word problem. So when they're asking for rate of change, they usually want it as a decimal, but just know that if it's multiple choice, like you'll just convert from one to the other. So how do you find slope of a graph? Anybody? Stat's one way, so let's write that down. Stat. What's another way to find slope of a graph? Rise over run. And then there's one more way to find slope, but of coordinates or a table. Does anybody remember? Let me show y'all. The slope formula. So everybody look at the star chart I'm putting on the board. Right here under linear equations, it says slope of a line, and then here is the slope formula. It's the change in y over the change in x. Do y'all remember learning this formula? So let's write that down. y2 minus y1, that's the change in y, which is the rise, over the change in the x. x2 minus x1. Now, before we move on, for rise over run, I want you to draw a line going up. That's a positive slope. Draw a line going down. That's a negative slope. Draw a horizontal line. That is, think of slope, dude. Zero slope. That's, remember he was like, this is zero fun when he was snow skiing. And then draw a line going straight up and down. What is that one? Remember when Slope Dude fell off the mountain? And he screamed the worst cuss word in math and algebra. Undefined. Do y'all remember it now? Undefined. Do I need to show y'all that video again? No? Okay. All right, so you get to choose how you find slope based on the question that they're asking and which way works best for you. Stat will only work if you have two coordinates. Stat's always going to give you your answer as a decimal. Rise over run will only work if it's a graph, but you have to be careful that you don't forget positive, negative, zero, undefined, and that you look at what it's counting by. And this will always work for two coordinates. Make sense? All right, so let's go look at number 1. It says the values in the table represent a linear relationship. What is the rate of change? Now, y'all know how to do stat. I don't need to go over that with y'all, correct? All right, can we go over slope formula just because it's been a while. So if these are the x's, these are the y's, then I'll say this is the first x, so x1. This is the second x, so x2. These are the y's. This is the first y, y1, and this is the second y, y2. And a lot of times you can do these in your head. You can just say, what is the change in y? Well, 6 minus 3 is 3. Over the change in x, 5 minus 1 is 4. But let's set it up. 6 minus 3 over 5 minus 1, which is 3/4. And that's your answer. Okay, let's go do number 4. Number 4 says the graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. What is the rate of change? So you have to decide. Would I do stat? Would I do rise over run? Whatever works for you. Personally speaking, I would do rise over run on this one. Why? Because what are they counting by? 1. They're counting by ones. That's super easy. And they gave me 2 good coordinates. So my rise is up 1, 2, 3. And my run is left. What does left mean? Negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I have to simplify that? Yes. What can I divide the top and bottom both by? Which becomes negative 1/3. Now, if you forgot that negative sign, you would miss the entire problem. So make sure you know if it's going down from left to right, it's negative. Now also, like look at number 5. I'm not going to do it for you because y'all know how to do it, but it says here you have a function. It says, excuse me, what is the rate of change? Well, can you see the rate of change in that problem? Can you see the slope? I don't see it. What form does it have to be able to see the slope? What? Slope intercept. So you need to rearrange this to y equals mx plus b. If it's in point slope form, you can see it, but I would rearrange that to y equals mx plus b so that you can see the slope. All right, turn the page. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to go over with y'all. Turn the page again. We're going to go do, so this page right here is all over rate of change, and then the multiple choice questions are over scatter plots and statistics. So real quick, let's just go over some basics about that. Does anybody remember what is causation? There's a difference between causation and correlation. Y'all remember me going over this, right? Causation means if this happens, then this will absolutely happen. Correlation means if this happens, this will probably happen. Yes, like if the temperature's hot outside, I will probably sell more snow cones. That's correlation. Yes? Make sense? Okay. More days that pass, the more a child grows. That is causation. The more days that pass, a child will absolutely grow. Yes? Okay. Now, we're going to go do number 2 just because it's been a while since y'all have done this. So let's go do number 2, and then y'all will be on your own from here. It says the scatter plot shows the total number of pages and the number of chapters in several books in a library. What function best models the data shown in the scatter plot? Round to the nearest 100. Now, all of your answers will vary, but since we're doing it together, they won't. To write an equation of a line of best fit, you must do stat. And then we're going to also add in what is the correlation coefficient. So to do stat, you have to make anybody? You have to make a table. So we need to go make coordinates out of these dots. So this first dot is on the x-axis at 2. And then where would y'all say that's at on the y-axis?
50.
I'd say 50. Okay, the next dot is, and also guys, I always put like a line through it to show that I did it already. This dot is at 260. This dot is at 3, and then I put that it's at 78 because like this would be 70 right here, yes? And it's not quite to 80, so I just said I think it's at 78. The next dot is at 140. Do I have to do all of the dots? Yes. The next dot is at 160. The next dot is at 6. And then what would y'all say that is? About 170? The next dot is at 170. The next dot is at 8. What do y'all think? I put 238. And then the next one is at 250 or 249, whatever you want to put. And then the last dot is at 10. I'd say, what do y'all think? 298? All right, so let's go put it in stat. Okay, once I have it all in, stat calc option 4 for linear. The line of best fit would be, and it said round to the hundredths place, so y equals 30.27 x minus 8.08. Now, your answers would absolutely vary based off those ones that weren't like perfect dots. Now, next question, what is the correlation coefficient and what does it mean? Who remembers what a correlation coefficient means? It means how good of data is this to make a prediction? That is where you have to turn your catalog, go to your catalog and turn your diagnostics on. Did y'all notice mine was already on because the R popped up? Does everybody remember how to do that? So again, I'm going to say it again. You have to go to your catalog, which is second 0, and I'll show y'all. You have to scroll all the way down to diagnostics on. It takes a while. Right there, and then you have to hit enter and hit enter again until it says done. And that's how you get those diagnostics to show up. So what is the correlation coefficient? Look at the R only. We don't care about the R squared. It is 0.985. What does that mean? A strong what? Positive. Because it's a positive number, it's a strong positive. That means this equation is a great equation to use to make predictions. So I could predict how many number of pages it would be if there's 20 chapters. How would I use it? I would plug in 20 for what? X. If I want to know how many pages there are in 100 chapters, I would plug in 100 for X. What if I wanted to predict how many chapters there are with 400 pages? What would I plug in? 400 for the Y. Does everybody make sense? Everybody understand that? All right, so your job is going to be to complete this entire paper, which is about 20 questions or so. Okay? You can help each other, work together, ask me for help.